Well, welcome back. This is Hearthside, Season 2, Episode 5. I believe it's 5. I hope it's 5. So, what are we doing today? We are going to make some things to automate essences. I'm very excited about that. So, I'm to the point where I absolutely have to think of a way to automate these, and are you stuck? You were stuck for a second. By the way, we're filled up. We're filled up on amethyst shards, and I believe in our little bitty piece over here, we're also filled up. Correct. So, yes, if you want a very easy way of getting a lot of source gems, go with the amethyst method. And I'm certain that there's plenty of ways to do this. I love the natural formations of amethyst, so I like putting them in things. But it can be kind of a challenge if you want to fit this in a less organic, less kind of hodgepodge build. So, I got advice from one of my viewers, and they said they usually make something in a floral pattern. And I'm looking around, and I do not have a huge amount of space. I kind of would like these to be separate and look interesting, so I started thinking on it. And I'm thinking, we put it in the water. We put the essence maker on little islands in the water. And I have an idea for that. I'm thinking we stick it maybe off of this. This has kind of a center point. And I want it to be grassy, so we're just going to pull out some land out this way. And I'm going to make a kind of fan of islands. So, let me get to that. I'll give you a time lapse of it. You know, one thing I miss from Hearthside Season 1, and that I left for the other person, was my Wand of Symmetry. The other person that's cultivating the island sends me messages periodically, and I get to find out how everybody's doing. It's lovely. In the case that anybody was thinking on it, yes, Trine is still in love with the Grim Reaper. Yes, Hearthshire is still doing fine, and the villagers are getting stuck in random places. Now, I want to make some islands. And the way I want to do that is with ours. So, in the end, I ended up having to go and get a cow in a jar. This cow in a jar is put into this jar by anviling a cow into a regular jar with the Cooking for Blockheads mod. I love it. It's wonderful. I am waiting on it to fill because we need a bucket of milk. The reason we need a bucket of milk is because I want to use the tablet of Conjure Islands. And for that, we need 2 different types of essences. One is the Abjuration essence. You do the fermented spider eye, the milk bucket, the sugar, and a source gem. And the other is the conjuration essence. We got Wild and Horn, a book, a Starbuncle token, which is a heavy sacrifice to make, but I'm willing to make it, and a source gem. And we need a few of those. Luckily, you only need to use one because this process is repeatable and it doesn't consume anything like the Starbuncle tokens. So, I am going to need a few imbuement chambers. I have one. I think we'll go with one right off and just switch out the stuff we need. So for the conjuration essence, what am I needing? Wild and Horn book, I just talked about it. Oh, and in between episodes, I went running around and getting as many Starbuncle tokens and Ars pieces as I could. And we need one more arcane pedestal. So I'm just going to make a very temporary setup right in the front yard. And I'm going to use 7. So this will take just a second. To get these essences just going and getting me quite a bit, I grabbed some wood. And we're going to make a volcanic chamber, whatever it's called. Volcanic source link. I need a bucket of lava. Dang it. All right, where's a bucket of lava? I have a temp waypoint that leads to it. On over that away. Oh boy, I cannot wait to get flight. But that's going to be a little bit, so it's fine to be patient. And there it is. There we go. And we completed a quest with that one. I'm just going to stick that right there. Grab my first conjuration essence. And then take some of this wood. Goodness, hello. Ooh, you've got pointed dripstone. And I could use pointed dripstone. Because I keep having to go get lava. Alright. Excuse me. Do I have pointed dripstone? I do. Never mind. Goodbye! Ooh. Okay. This is a horrific thing to watch. I wonder if it'll transfer directly from Source Link to this once it gets enough. Because the Volcanic Source Link, what you can do is use, like, spruce logs. Anything burnable. Throw it near that, it will absorb it. And then it will use the source. So let's get a source jar because I do not think it'll work on its own. There we go. Ah, there we go. I love watching the source travel to its destination. That's just neat. I put a mycelial source link over here as well and was kind of double dipping into the source. I think I'm going to add these other 2 source jars and get these 3 filled up with source so that we just have a little bit built up in the back. In the background. So while that's going, I'm going to shove these. The rituals will require source. This tablet of Conjure Island is going to require source to do. Now, let's talk about it, because I can make the island bigger if I wanted to. It creates an island of grass and dirt in a circle around the ritual. Augmenting with an elemental archfruit will convert to a thematic forest. The island will generate with a radius of 7 blocks. Augmenting the ritual with source gems will increase the radius by 1 for each gem. Source must be provided nearby as the blocks are generated. Now, I'm probably going to make these islands a little bit smaller after the fact. So let's get about 7 of these. And we've got the ritual brazier. That's why we wanted to build up this source over here. And we have one that's 99% full. So I'm going to let that take its time for a moment. Grab the full one and head on over here. I put a little bit of a bridge plinth piece. We may change it up. But for now, we're going to conjure an island. I think we may need to do it a little bit further out, though. Let's do that. We've got grass. I think I'm going to go to about here. Around here. And we're going to place our ritual, our source jar, and let's conjure one up. And as you can see with the biome blending, we are actually conjuring an archwood forest right there. I do wish you could dampen this ritual in some way and make those islands just a smidgen smaller to start out with. But we'll do it ourselves. I kind of want it to only have like a radius of 3, so we're going to stop it here. This size is perfect. After I kill that drown, I am going to finesse the bottoms of the islands, and we're going to copy this. I am liking that shape, but I could probably even go a little bit smaller with it. Seeing as all we need is the imbuement chamber there, and the 3 pedestals here, I could literally go probably 1 more in even. And I really might, considering I want to spread the islands in kind of a moon pattern over here. And I'm not sure if I have enough room to get all 7 in, but of course I could sprinkle them further out as well, like a snowflake pattern. I might do that. But it was a little bit of hard work to get in, so I know I need to go 3 below the waterline and have a star pattern and expand out from there. So I'm going to make the others by hand, because look at how much dirt I ended up getting just from shaving that island. Well, this island was a pain to make by hand. So I think we're going to incorporate one more thing into our little space here. We're going to see what it takes to make a schematic cannon. This is the perfect use for a schematic cannon, and we're going to need some smooth stone, it looks like. Smooth stone and iron. So we're going to need the schematic table. And you know what? I think I'm going to make this coal into tiny coal. There's the schematic table. Now we need a schematic and quill. I do have one thing that can give me light blue dye. I'll take this, and I'll use this. Wonderful. So now we have a schematic and quill. You can see this little icon popping around. And we're going to take this dirt island. And this thing is a little strange to use, but you adjust the schematic to fit what you're aiming for. Right now I've only got one. So with the Alt key, you pull out a side. You look at the side of it, hold down Alt, pull it out. There we go. We're going to want to make this more than one-dimensional, so we're going to use Alt and head down below and get all 3 of those layers. So now we have this schematic. It's 7 by 7 by 3, 7 by 3 by 7, actually. And we're going to name this Small Island Template. There we go. Saved. Now, we're going to head over here. Set the schematic cannon there, and you are going to need to supply it. So, we're going to check if I have any chests. I do. I'm going to throw a bunch of dirt in there. Now, if I wanted these islands to be bigger, like the default size of the Ars islands that I showed you, I would be using the ritual. But since I made it smaller, this is really the best way. So we're going to set down the schematic table because we need to get a regular schematic, an empty schematic, and we're going to say the Small Island Template. And when we put it in this little box and hit check, it will give us this schematic. And we can lay this down anywhere. I'm going to place the next one. We're just going to get it laid in. And now you can see it. If I weren't underwater, there we are. And I'm going to say, it tells me to focus, point at the schematic, and control scroll to push it. So we're going to head on over here. And I'm going to control scroll it and move it right along. And I want it pushed out a bit that way. I would like these corners lined up a little bit. Is that lined up? I think it is. So now that we have that one lined up, yes, I think this should work out, hopefully. If I push one more over and go in, will I hit the island? I don't know. We'll find out. So I have it placed where I want it placed, and I have it underwater. So we're going to take this back over, and we are going to place it right in the schematic cannon. Now, we're out of gunpowder, so it can't fire it off. And we have a few options. I'm going to keep them default, which is replace the solid with any. If I have air, it's going to replace it with air. Skip missing blocks, I'm actually going to turn off. And protect blocked entities, that's if you have chests or anything on this, I can leave that as is. So, we are going to grab some gunpowder. I have just a little bit. Hopefully I have enough to get through all of the islands. And we're going to hit play. And it's placing blocks underwater now. And there goes the ding. Wonderful. That one's done. Now, I just gotta take these and copy them over to the other side, and we will have 7 islands. No, we won't. 1, 2, we'll have 5 islands. So I'll start positioning these and getting them taken care of. We'll print them out. And there's another one done. And now we have 5 of these islands. Wonderful. Let's get 2 more in. Oh, gosh dang it. I didn't lower that one. lily pads. I might grab a few of those. Do I have some first? I don't. Thank you. I think I'll take these orchids as well. And perfect. There's our 7 islands laid in. And on the map, they look awesome. We'll be able to lay in some more islands as we need them, but for now, we're just going to pick these ones up because I just wanted the basic R's 7 essences and such. So we're going to just grab all of this stuff, pick it up, and these islands won't always be just dirt. The floral design is iffy right now, but I like it. Right, so the water around here is a little messed up and it's irritating me, so I made a tank upgrade and a pump upgrade for my backpack. And we're going to apply those in. And we're going to say input for the moment. We're going to need to get our buckets. And let's see. How do I set the pump upgrade? Input, yes. Oh, that would take a while. How do I want to do this? Pumps fluid between the tank upgrade and adjacent blocks. I said input. We're going to put output. You know, I may need an advanced pump upgrade. So. And I might see if we have enough to make an advanced tank upgrade as well. There we are. We're going to take off Interact with World right now. And you can watch as the pump upgrade does not work because I don't have the tank upgrade on. There we are. The pump upgrade will just pull that water directly out of that bucket and into my backpack. In fact, there is another way of doing this. If we go into our advanced pump upgrade and turn on Do Interact with World and jump in the water, it will start filling on its own. We're going to stay out here where the water source blocks are and fill it up. And there we go. And then we're going to go swimming over here. We're going to turn off Interact with World for a moment. We're going to put Output. And then we're going to swim over here because I didn't want it to start on the ground. And we're going to say Interact with World. And now it's going to try and fill in any water blocks that I have missed. Oh, I hopped out of the water and that means I put a water block there. Alright, let's turn off Interact with World. We're going to put input on there now. And I'm going to pick up these water blocks over here. And all but one space is filled, it looks like. All but 2 spaces. So let's get this working one more time. There we go. Fixed all of the water. It took ages. But I did. Wonderful. And all of these are marked out as Archwood Forest or sparse jungle, but we will get there. We'll make it look nice. There we go. A nice floral patterning. I'm gonna even up this land just a touch. That took far longer than it had any right to, but it's done. It looks good. I'm really enjoying the sort of vibe we've got going right over here. Well, you know, I keep promising you guys time lapses and just not doing them. I don't know why, but I do have a time lapse that I really do want to show you because I think it will be a cool one. However, we've got these islands back here and they don't match apparently. You can see that. I have a plan on making those match and I want to show you guys a very creative way of handling this type of problems where if you want a very specific biome to be overall, you can do that with ours. And I do it in a funky little way. There's also the towers that are Evilcraft. You can get potion bottles to change over biomes. You can absolutely throw a potion bottle and it will change that biome in an area. However, one, I'm not extremely familiar with that. Two, I think it'd be way funnier just to do it this way, but I really need that grass to spread. And it does look like it is spreading to its diagonal neighbors, so we'll see if that will happen throughout this area. I'm hoping that it does. In the meantime, while this grass is spreading, we absolutely need to do the thing that we were aiming to do today and automate the essences that are going on here. I must have eaten. It scared the bejesus out of me. I thought somebody coughed behind me. Yeah. The backpack automatically feeds me, and sometimes I make funny noises when it happens. So, let's get started on that. We need 7 imbuement chambers. Do we have the stuff to make that? No, we don't. I have enough for 5. Well, we'll place those out here, and then I'm gonna have to go get some gold for a second. I will be right back with you. And you know, I forgot about the hammers earlier. The hammers would have spread my gold a little bit further, I think. Either which way, I've got a mine. So I went mining for just a short time, got myself 15 raw gold, and I'm gonna use a hammer on that to give myself a little bit more oomph with it. Let's do the engineer's hammer. I think it's cheaper. It is. Wonderful. I also grabbed some diamonds while I was down there, and a few things from those little pots and urns that you find. Wonderful. We only needed 2 more, and we got 2 more. At least. Now we need all of the pedestals. And you're going to see after this... Really? Of course. You're going to see after this why I wanted to leave a little bit more space on these islands, but still keep them very small. How are we doing in here? Ooh, we got some molten cores. And some more experience shards. And a lot of warp fungus. I had just enough of that gold to make up 21 arcane pedestals, which I think is all we're gonna need. But I'm gonna grab this gold just in case. And we're gonna go from island to island and place these on. Also, I kind of dismissed the fact that ours does have a lot more colors than purple, gold, gray. This is the biome color for ours. It's got that cyan sky blue, very bright, very vibrant. So I shouldn't be so dismissive on the amount of colors that I really have to work with. But I also do like a challenge. Right, so all of the pedestals are laid out, and we're also going to need more of these mage blooms. I don't want to make any more seeds up currently, but I'm going to get as many mage bloom fibers as I can, because they can be made into different stuff, and that includes armor, that includes the next thing I'm making for preparation on these islands, which would be the mage bloom bed. All of these. And we've got 6 base colors to that. And the very base one is the orange mage bloom bed. So you want a feather and 8 of the mage bloom fibers. And I do not have nearly enough. But I will slowly place those, and what we're going to do is move around these islands and figure out what all we need. So I'm going to place a mage bloom bed right in front of that, and this will all make sense shortly. And right in front of that, I might do some funny stuff around this very small area to work with, so we'll see what I can make. I keep having flashes of ideas and concepts. So some of the things we know we need are this fermented spider eye, this milk bucket, and this sugar. If I remember right, that makes us... it's not air. Is it conjuration? Oh, and if I hold a spider eye, it shows me where I do need to light up if I don't want mobs spawning in darkness. I don't really mind that. I don't need it at the moment. There we go. So we're going to go for the base essences, the ones that are just part of Ars Nouveau. There are some for Ars Elemancy, and Ars Elemental in this, but we're just going to go for the base. These 7. So right now, we have Abjuration. Conjuration is the Wilden Horn, the Starbuncle, and the book, which we've talked about, but we're going to need to grab it. So I'm actually going to bookmark. I'm going to bookmark these. And I'm going to gather up all the stuff for each one. Well, we're only missing one more. We need the water essence. And that's going to take a smidgen of a journey because we need a snow block and kelp, and I have neither. And here we are with the snowy biome. And I'm just going to waste my entire shovel on this. Oh, that was satisfying. Now let's see, we're still going to need like ocean. I'm going to head on over to the south. It might be a little bit of a long journey. So now that we have the last 2, or the last 1, we've got our kelp, we've got our snow block, we've got our water bucket. We will place those. Right, now that I have all of those pedestals done, I need to get about 5 more Mage Bloom beds and show you how we plan on automating this little system. So we got the Mage Bloom beds about ready. There we go. Oh goodness, I made a bunch of them. That's alright, they'll be useful. Now we're going to need to make 6 more of these starbuncles. Ladislaw is one of the starbuncles we'll be getting, as well as some regular ones. Let's do our rituals in our new ritual area. And there we are, and I think we're going to take our unique starbuncle, Ladislaw, and we're going to use him over there. So I'll start placing Mage Bloom beds. There we go. Have 7 extra, that's just fine. Hello, Ladislaw. Aw, you're so pretty. He's cyan. I love it. We're going to place a chest over here. And last things last with all of this, we're going to need to get our source gems from here all the way over there. And then we're going to need to take those source gems, distribute them between these islands, and use that to fill up this chest here. So first things first, we're going to need another starbuncle or 2. In fact, I definitely think 2. You grab out, and also, that's your bed. So to set their bed, you just make sure to do the same thing you would as if you were storing into a chest. The starbuncles do not understand diagonals. Do they understand not diagonals? Yes! That's good news and bad news. So I have one starbuncle right now who is delivering to all of these different pedestals after getting source gems out of this chest. This chest is going to have a starbuncle delivering to it as well. Right now it's manual. But I'm experiencing a problem. Because I don't have a filter on this chest, where all of the essences will go, as soon as a source gem is deposited, that starbuncle, which I told to deposit into this chest, is bringing back the source gems. So we need to make a filter for this that says no source gems. We're going to use an item scroll deny, and that requires a blank parchment, which is Mage Bloom fibers around a piece of paper, and a piece of cobblestone, to call it a deny filter. Excellent. So in order to make this work, I need to go up to the ship, go over to my table, and it says I'm crafting leap. No, I'm not. We're going to place the deny filter on there. And then we're going to crouch and right-click the source gem, and that will add the source gem as a deny item. We're also going to need an item frame. We're going to grab our glow item frame and head back down. Then we're going to place that, place this, and that should stop him dead in his tracks. In doing that, he's going to go back to bed instead, but he also has a source gem, so it's unfortunate, man. And now he will not transfer source gems to this chest, and we're going to use that for all of them. Now, I didn't know you'd just jump in the water. You would just throw yourself right into the water, huh? There we go. After a few days of training, they are now automatically feeding the source gems into where they need to go, into the imbuement chambers, and then taking the essences over to our chest. See? And there we are. And there's where all the source gems are. Wonderful. So all of these little guys deliver the essences back, and the one that is taking from that chest is delivering all the source gems to be made. Now, the reason I make this type of system instead of maybe something more efficient is, one, it looks amazing, and two, here's the big one, I don't need to worry at all about the idea of producing source just for essences. So total with this sort of system, you're going to have quite a few starbunkles if you do it this way, but I like the way they look, moving around and running, and they're just cute. They're very cute. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is all the bait essences automated, and the grass still has not spread all the way, which is depressing, but we'll get there. Now, for the most exciting part of this episode, a time-lapse I've been promising. I think I'm going to grab maybe 32 of these source gems. We need a ritual brazier, and one of our Conjure Island Arkwood forests, a source jar. So I grabbed a few things. I grabbed a cactus, 2 pieces of sand, which I'm going to use to make snad. And I'm gonna head quite a bit ways up. I think I'll just go until I run out of this dirt. We're going to put down our ritual brazier, and then we're gonna start growing that cactus. And you see, it's going to feed a whole bunch of source right there. And with that, we're going to conjure an archwood forest, but we're gonna augment it. We're gonna augment it with 28 source gems. In fact, maybe less. So I'm going to augment that. Apparently by 8s. There we go. That's all right. And we're making an archwood island. my goodness, look at how big it is. It's huge. It feels like it goes out to the horizon, but it doesn't. Now, the cool thing is, underneath this big old slab, our island has also changed to a Archwood Forest Island, which is amazing. It's pretty great. Now, in order to deal with the cactus, I used a magnet upgrade, a pickup upgrade, and a void upgrade. When those are turned on, it will automatically take the cactus, pull it into the backpack, and void it. So that makes this a relatively quick affair. And those generate tons of source. Oh my goodness, it took forever to take down that island. However, we got it taken down. Our regular island is now ours, and that's just kind of a clever way. Make sure if you do that, you have better tooling than I do. To be completely honest, taking it down by hand was a nightmare. But that is going to finish us up for this episode. We got a lot done. We got our essences automated, we got some islands built, some little bitty islands over there built, and we have our space now as ours, including the water. If I didn't have such wonderful shaders, you guys would be able to see the fact that the water is in fact a different color blue. And we'll explore that next time.